I love it because I never know who's going to walk into the WAAF studio. Welcome, Pat Badger from Extreme. How are you?
Hello, Mistress Carrie. I'm doing great.
Yeah, you're doing good?
Yeah, so good to be here.
It's weird. This is the new digs. You haven't been to the new studio yet.
You know, it's like walking into the Starship Enterprise in here. It's
I know.
really impressive.
Can you believe I know what almost all these buttons do?
I'm glad someone does.
It's a little bit different than the gear that I started with in like college.
Yeah.
The radio back then, we had like a razor blade and tape, and now it looks like, NASA, the command
back then,
center.
People used to play 45s and like cassettes, right?
I know. Back
Now
when I started AF, we were playing CDs still. And then when everything got digitized, and then now all of a sudden we just got this upgraded studio, I walk in here sometimes, I'm like, God, I hope I remember what all these buttons do.
Yeah, well, it's an awesome new place.
Yeah, it's not bad, right?
Yeah, and I got to say, if you guys haven't seen Mistress Carrie's hair lately, it is a beautiful shade of purple, and I don't think
you like this shade?
Purple didn't even look that good on Prince.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We got the cameras in here for WAAF.com, and you could check out the Facebook page and Instagram and Twitter and all of that stuff. Yeah, my hairdresser's been killing it lately. She's doing all right.
Good.
I need a fresh purple for the marathon.
Yeah,
because people got to know it's me, other than just
I'm
the
sure
woman
you'll have a fan club
dying on the route, gasping for air. It's like 18 days away. Can you believe it?
So that's impressive. So you think you're ready?
I did 20 miles on Sunday, and I felt like I had gas in the tank left that I think I could have done 6 more miles. I wouldn't have been happy about it at the end.
See, if I had to run the marathon, I'd be like that. Remember Rosie Ruiz?
Yeah, she got on the tee.
Yeah, I'd have to get on the tee.
Yeah.
I'd probably run like a mile, get out of breath, and then, have to get on the tee.
Well, listen, once I got close to Hampton, there was some jerks that were on their motorcycles that were on their way to Wally's that were offering to let me hop on the back of the bike as they saw me running in the race on Sunday. And I was like, get out of here because you're tempting me.
That's great.
I was going to ask you, I need some suggestions for my running playlist because I ran out of... Like, the playlist ended, and I was only at, like, mile 17, and I'm like, I got to do 26 miles on Marathon Monday.
So how much time do you need?
Well, I'm hoping to
45
finish...
minutes?
Like an hour and four... Like,
hour?
I'm hoping to finish in just under 6 hours
well,
if my time is right.
I never run races or do anything like, crazy like you. But when I get on the treadmill, I've been listening to the Struts a lot lately.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, great band. I guess
they're playing at the House of Blues with the Glorious Sons.
Yeah. So put the Struts in your playlist because I find myself that the tempos are good in the songs to like run to.
It's really interesting. I've been discovering that the tempo of songs affects my mile time. Mm-hmm. So I've been tweeting to people like Corey Taylor, like, "Hey, did you know this song is an 11-minute mile pace?" Mm-hmm. Because it's probably not anything anybody ever thought about, but that's all there is to think about when you're out on the road running 20 miles in preparation for the marathon.
I only run like 3-4 miles on the treadmill. But
it's awful, isn't it?
It's great when you get in that rhythm with the music.
Yeah.
It definitely helps, with
everybody told me, the running high, you're going to love it. They lied. It's hard.
I know that's something that I'll never be able to do is ever run a marathon. So it really does blow my mind. And people like you, definitely I look up to.
I never had an appreciation
for
the local runners and how hard it is to train for the Boston Marathon through the winter. Because there are people that come from all over the world to run it, but the people that are from New England that have to train here when it's 5 below zero in January, and usually I was the one swearing at them to get out of the road because there's snow on the side of the road and the sidewalks aren't plowed. And I'm like, Jesus, really, Hardo? You got to be out there running, and now I understand and feel bad for them.
You slip on the ice, and then it's like game over.
Yeah.
Cancel your plans.
So I was going to put this on my marathon playlist, and I wanted to talk about it because there are extreme songs, and then there are extreme songs that start with a bass line. And you're the bass player. You got to get a little respect.
Yeah. Well, this one, I always have a moment, I guess, live, where people seem to dig this one. I always ask about the bass line in this one. So... you should add this one.
I think I'm going to put it on the playlist.
Get the funk out.
Yeah, but I don't know what the mileage pace is going to be for me. I'm going to have to test it out.
We're going to have to.
Do you want to go do it right now out in the parking lot?
Let's do it.
All right, Pat Badger from Extreme joining me in the WAAF studio. It's got to be between a 10 and 11-minute mile pace for me, Pat, that one.
Yeah, for me, I don't think I can run that fast.
That was Get the Funk Out from Extreme. Pat Badger from Extreme joining me in the WAAF studio. And we were talking about, that going on my marathon playlist.
Oh, it has to now.
Yeah, it's definitely going in. Now, and I'll think of you. I don't know where it's going to come up because it just comes up on random.
You're going to have to tell me later.
Yeah, I'll let you know how that works out for me.
I hope it's happening at the finish line.
Yeah, me too. Me too. You were talking about that being, a moment for you as a bass player when you're out touring with Extreme, because the bass player doesn't get the love that they should. We all know it. And one of the questions I wanted to ask, because everybody's talking about Queen for obvious reasons with the success of Bohemian Rhapsody. So the first thing I wanted to know is, what did you think of the movie?
I loved the movie.
Yeah.
Being a huge Queen fan, and having read some of the reviews, I probably shouldn't have read the reviews.
Yeah, the reviews are never good.
And they did pick apart like some things in the movie that weren't historically accurate.
Yeah. They always take liberties with some, timelines on things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they kind of Hollywoodize things to make, a little more dramatic in spots or whatever.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was great. It was very entertaining. Obviously, Remy, was that the actor?
Rami Malek.
Rami, he deserves every accolade and every award he has received for that performance.
He became Freddie Mercury.
It was
After a while, you forgot that it wasn't him. It was really weird.
Yeah. And then for us, for me personally, sitting in the theater, people always ask me about when Extreme played the Freddie Mercury tribute.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Yeah.
Yeah, which was an amazing day for us. And we were, just kids from around here. I had lived in Winchester, Gary from Medford, Malden. Within several years of, we got our record deal, and by 1992 we're playing at the Freddie Mercury tribute. Brian May had asked us to play. So here we are.
Hold on. What the hell was that like? That's amazing.
So we didn't know he was going to say that. And we were all blown away. We were walking on stage like, how could this possibly be happening to us? We were such huge Queen fans, and here we are being, asked to do this amazing moment to celebrate Freddie Mercury, who had just passed away. And we're like, how did a couple of guys from Medford, and Malden, and Winchester, and Hudson end up here at Wembley? In front of 80,000 people. There was 1 billion people on TV. It was the biggest concert.
I remember watching it.
Yeah, and all these legends were there: Roger Daltrey, Robert Plant, David Bowie, Annie Lennox,
Metallica,
Elton, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
It was just Def Leppard. I mean, it was off the hook. What a big event. And we were just pinching ourselves, wondering how the hell did we get here?
All right, so I want to know, you're on that stage, and being the bass player, you start Another One Bites the Dust. I want to know what that was like. What the hell was going on in your head besides please don't screw up, please don't screw up, please don't screw up?
Again, we went on knowing we were going to play, a medley of Queen songs.
Right.
Which was kind of a little bit brass balls of us,
It was kind of ballsy.
And so
full-on Boston thing to do. Screw whatever you guys have planned. We're going to play all the hits.
Yeah, and, so when the crowd was with us from the very first, second of it, the whole thing just unfolded, and it was kind of it was almost like a dream, the whole thing. I think back to it, and it seems in some ways so long ago, but in other ways it felt like yesterday,
Yeah.
And, it was funny because as I was sitting in the theater watching Bohemian Rhapsody, when they did the whole sequence of them being on stage at Wembley.
You were on that stage.
Yeah, it was as close as I've ever been to being back there. Because they did these sweeping shots over Freddie Mercury's head with the, 80,000 people. And I got goosebumps in the theater just because of that moment, really.
Well, it happened in 1992 for anybody that was maybe too young to remember that it happened. And because we're talking about it, there's a little medley. I mean, you guys played a 14-minute medley of Queen hits. We kind of boiled it down a little bit. So here is Extreme on stage at Wembley at the Freddie Mercury tribute. Yeah, ballsy Boston guys just tackling Queen harmonies in front of 80,000 people in tribute to Freddie Mercury. No big deal, Pat Badger from Extreme.
Yeah, no pressure.
No pressure
was
at all.
That day. Yeah, no, it was an amazing event for us.
That wasn't even the whole performance. We just had to boil it down. So to give people, if you just
taste.
Go on YouTube, watch the performance. It was amazing. And you were talking while we were playing that about the Radio Gaga part.
Oh, yeah.
That was the memory that sticks with you from that performance.
I still get chills when I see, if someone says, hey, they'll show me I saw you on YouTube doing this thing. They had never seen it before. Everyone comments on the hand clapping at the end of Radio Gaga. I still get chills thinking about it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. And I love the fact that, you're like, oh, okay, we're going to, as Extreme, we're going to go on stage and we're going to tackle Queen songs, which is no small task. And now you're in this band called the Dark Desert Eagles, and you're like, yeah, no big deal. We're just going to play all the Eagles songs now because those are so much easier to play.
Yeah, and I'm not going to play bass. I want to sing lead vocal and play guitar.
Yeah. So when Johnny from Nothing More was here a few weeks ago, he was talking about how he was a drummer and becoming a lead singer and having to step out from behind the kit and being the focus, being the lead singer. You've been the bass player in the band for decades, and now you're the singer. What is that like for you?
Well, first of all, Gary and Nuno are really upset because now the world knows I'm the best singer of Extreme.
Those Queen harmonies didn't happen with just Gary and Nuno. You're in there too.
No, I've always sang my whole life, and I sang in my high school bands. I was like, I would do the lead singing. So I've always loved to sing.
See, us band geeks were cool, man. We were.
And so, again, I've played bass. I've sang background vocals for 30 years now in Extreme, and I've always wanted to step out and do something different, out of my comfort zone. So singing these songs is a tremendous challenge because I'm singing not only the Glenn Frey songs, but I'm also singing the Don Henley stuff.
Right. And speaking of drummers that
step out and, out of their comfort zone. But, all the songs are so classic. I mean, that the Eagles' Greatest Hits is the best-selling album of all time.
Yeah.
And then Hotel California is number 3. And then when you look at the catalog, all the albums that go behind that, it's like mind-blowing how many albums these guys have sold. And everyone knows every word to every song.
Well, that's the pressure of it, though, because if everybody knows what it's supposed to sound like and now you're trying to play it, if you don't do a good job, we all notice.
Yeah, then everyone throws beer and, throws beer at you. There's a lot of pressure to it, but, I welcomed the challenge, and it's been just so much fun to play that catalog, and the crowd really responds. And throughout the show, without giving too much away, we've had this whole idea that we have time traveled, that we're not trying to replicate the Eagles. We're not trying to be them. We're actually the Dark Desert Eagles, who is the world's self-proclaimed greatest Eagles tribute band from 1977, and we've traveled through time. So,
and marijuana is legal in Massachusetts, they say.
It is, yeah, it is. So there's a lot of humor within the show, like in between. We've watched the Eagles documentary and seen a lot about the infighting and the drugs. It's unbelievable. Yeah, so there's a lot of kind of comedy in between.
If people haven't seen that documentary, you've got to watch it. Even if you're not an Eagles fan, it's interesting. Yeah, it really is.
So we've taken some of the humor out of that, or like out of Spinal Tap or whatever, and so that there's some element of humor on stage in between songs, and it just makes for a fun night for people,
Well, you got a bunch of gigs that are coming up in the next couple of months. If you want to go and see the Dark Desert Eagles, you're playing at Hampton Beach at the Casino on April 26th.
Which is a big one.
Yeah, that's a big show. And then you're playing up in Portland on June 1st, and then you're playing the Bull Run on June 14th. So where can people go to get tickets, to get information on the band, find out where else you're playing? Because people are listening on the radio.com app from all over. You guys are touring all around the U.S.
Well, we do have a website. DarkDesertEagles.com.
There you go.
And there's a tour page that has all of our dates and ticket links.
And links to buy tickets.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So
wouldn't it have been so much easier if Extreme had that back in the day?
Back in the day, yeah. No, we had to go door to door and
hand
knock
out
on
flyers.
People's doors and stuff and say, "Will you buy our album?"
Well, it's just the same thing you were talking about when you walked in the studio. You're like, look at all of these flat screens in here. It's like a spaceship.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different than it was back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
But it's good, though. It's great because now you can, get the word out with everybody, make it easy to get tickets. People can, go online and tell you either how great the show was or how much you sucked, and it's instant. It's right there for you.
I can open up my email, and then, one of these ticket services are sending me, hey, guess who's coming to your town? Hey, the Struts are coming. Because they know they were in my playlist or I had bought tickets before.
It's a little Big Brothery, too. It's a little creepy.
Bit, yeah.
Well, before I let you go, you brought up Spinal Tap earlier, and I always ask because everybody's got one. You got to give me your biggest Spinal Tap moment on stage. Was there one where something just went horribly wrong or something that was just too funny? I mean, you've been a professional musician now for over 30 years. There's got to be one that you're like, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, I mean, there are, moments that, like, every day when you're on the road, you're like, wow, this could be like a scene out of Spinal Tap. So, whether it's, a catering or, with the food things or whether it's, something crazy happening to someone on stage. I fell off the stage once.
There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Where did that happen?
That was just the last tour. That was in Bangkok. I almost pulled a Dave Grohl.
You almost needed to borrow the throne?
But, unbelievable. The lights went down before our encore, and I'm about to walk on stage to do the encore, and they did not have a railing behind the stage. And I my eyes were kind of, when you're in the dark after you've been in the light, my eyes hadn't adjusted yet. And I'm, kind of fumbling my way through, and suddenly I stepped off the back of the stage. But it was a 10-foot drop. All right. So if I had landed by the grace of,
whoever was watching.
Yeah. There was a road case right next to the stage that I somehow stepped on. It was it was almost like being on a surfboard. Suddenly it moved. And I was like, whoa, where am I? But if I had dropped the whole way, I definitely would have messed myself up pretty bad.
But you survived. You're good.
Yeah.
You didn't need to borrow the Dave Grohl throne.
I jumped off the road case, ran back around because now I'm 10 feet below the stage, and then I ran around and came back up the ramp and made it on stage right at the exact moment to hit the first note I was supposed to hit, and the rest of the band didn't even know what
I was going to ask you, did those guys even notice you were gone?
I told them what had happened after. They're like, you got to be kidding.
The bass player never gets any respect. Well, Pat Badger from Extreme and the Dark Desert Eagles is here in the WAAF studio, and we want to give away some tickets to the Hampton Beach Show on April 26th before you go.
Oh, great.
So people can call the Framingham Ford studio line, 617-764-WAAF, and we'll hook you up with some tickets, and they can come and check you out.
Yeah, if you love the Eagles, you want a fun night out, Hampton Beach is coming right up.
Well, thank you so much for coming to visit. Come back anytime.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'll look forward to Get the Funk Out popping up in my playlist while I'm running on Marathon Monday.
Right on. Cool. Thanks.